YouTube? This is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive or P-Bandai Exclusive HGUC Dictus Castillo of Light version. So the Castillo of Light version is basically mentioning like who the pilot is in this specific mobile suit, and then for those who don't know, there is actually another variant out there which is basically the opposite color, which is the other side is white and then the other side is purple and becomes the right hand. For those who don't know, the Dictus can transform into a giant hand, and it's supposed to be known to be one of the most powerful mobile suits in the Crossbone Manga universe, in the series. So yeah, so I can't say I know this mobile suit a lot. All I know is that I've read the manga and I've actually used this mobile suit in the old G generation overworld games, and yeah, it was definitely a interesting and unique design mobile suit, which is why it got my interest when it was announced. Alright, so let's go over our usual, our usual ways. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit, the Dictus itself. Once again, as you can see, the kit itself is colored in this really nice glossy paint. So I really like that part. Of course, because of that aspect, some nub marks are going to be hard to erase, and number two, you might see some dust on it because dust gets on it pretty easily, and it's very easy to see it as well. So as usual, let's go over some leftover parts. So leftover part wise, there's none other than these leftover polycaps. So yeah, this is a pretty much original mobile suit, and you can pretty much expect the other version to come out pretty soon, if you ask me. And then here we have some stickers. Now these stickers are pretty interesting. So these are one of those mono eye type stickers where you have like three options. Number one, so this one, the one I did not use, is basically you can put the eye looking on this side, and the other sticker is looking on the other side. So it's really your choice to make. But if you don't like either of those, you can put a black sticker on and then put a red sticker on the position that you want to do so. With that, you have like three like trials and errors that you can do. So yeah, I guess that's a good idea. And then here are your components. So first of all, you get this big giant beam axe. I wasn't really expecting this, and I think in the G generation overworld, if you use this specific mobile suit, I don't think there was an option to use the axe. I believe I could be wrong, but still I don't really remember the axe. And then you get 4 of the same beam effect parts. So these are the ones mostly for the claws, but also for the hand mode, but also where you put in like 4 other effect parts, which I will be demonstrating as well. So let me just get rid of that first, and the axe will be demonstrated later. And then we get 2 standard beam saber effect parts, but you will be only using 1 because this is actually also a effect part for, if you look at the Dictus mobile suit, one side has the face, but the other side has this red hole here. So you can plug it in and do a beam shooting effect, which is pretty nice if you ask me. Not many mobile suits do that. And then let's see, let me put it back on the action base. And then here we have some leftover, well, not leftover parts, but basically this thing has some parts forming gimmicks. So number one, here we have the neck extension. So as you can see, the arms and legs becomes the 4 fingers, and then the head is supposed to come out and extend and become the sum of the hand. So yeah, this is pretty much the extension as well. And this is a chest part which you have to swap out from the original to make the hand part. But of course, if you don't, I mean, this is not like really required, but it's basically there on the manual. So you can still transform it without using this part, but still you just need to do it just to make it look right, I guess. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So you might have noticed that this thing is on an action base. The main reason for that is because this thing is not easy to balance, if you ask me. I mean, it's technically possible to make it stand on its own, but not easy because it's mostly due to the fact the feet. I wouldn't say it's the weight issue. The feet are very long, and then as you can see, design wise, they're like more facing forward, and they're more focused on the forward section instead of the back section, which is why it does make it a little bit tricky to make it stand on its own and balance. So I'm just gonna put it on the action base for now, so just bear with me. Alright, so as usual, let's go over the articulation. So the articulation may be a little bit odd to some people, but still it works. So the head, obviously the head is not really articulated. Of course, the way how this is connected is because you can give it a slight tilt. Let me just get this off right away. So you can see this thing is connected to a ball joint, so you do get a, like side to side movement, and it'll get a little bit rotation on the face. So that's pretty much it. There's no, it doesn't really have your typical mobile suit-ish style articulation. So that's how it works. It's connected to a ball joint, and then you have to take this off for the hand mode. And here is a part where you put the beam effect part. And let's get the main body first. So the body is okay. Let me just back up a little bit. So okay, so the body is connected to a main ball joint here, which is not a polycap. Just want to show you guys, it's a full plastic ball joint. Of course, on the inside, on the other side is a polycap. I would like to mention that. So you do have I believe you are able to rotate the body around because of how the design is. Yes, you do get a 360 twist. Of course, you're gonna have to work your way through. And looking at the back, we have this big backpack, and this is a pretty nice touch, like all these color separated pieces. I really like the way how they separate the white and purple, like exactly. So yeah. And then we get these two giant thrusters, doesn't really move much, and this big giant backpack looking thing. So this is pretty much the only weakness point of the Dictus, because the Dictus is able to form a eye field in front of him, but not on the back, so which is why the back is its most weakness. But this is also a very highly maneuverable, a very high fast mobility mobile suit, so it's really hard to also get behind the mobile suit as well. So we have this part as well. For this is mostly for the hand. I would like to mention that you still have your standard action base. Come on, we still get your standard action base hole on the bottom section over there, if my camera can show you guys that. Because of the color wise, it's really hard to focus on this mobile suit, but still. And then for the hand mode, you can take this part off by doing this, and will reveal a hole. Of course, you need a very specific action base, well, to be more specific, a more action based connector. The manual does mention this, that you need a compatible with ACB 513 connector for the action base 5. So yeah, if you see my pictures, I had to pretty much like bring out any connectors I had and modify it to make this fit. So yeah, just be prepared. Alright, so let's go over the articulation on the arm. So I'm going to go each arm because they're different designs. So on each arm, they have the same connection. So I don't know why it's really having a hard time focusing, but okay. So on the purple side, they're both on the ball joint. They're the same ball joints and same polycaps. They can, because of that, you are able to rotate 360, and then oops, sorry about that. 360, and then the big giant claw. We have a nice double jointed bend going on here, and yes, the claws do actually function. Of course, the claw insides are kind of empty, but oh well. And then these are the parts where these are like the holes that you are able to connect a beam effect part. And then we have this shoulder part, which even in the old G Generation Overworld game, I don't think this was really mentioned or used as well. I could be remembering it wrong, but yeah. So we have this part where you can flap up and down, and there are beam cannons on the each end. So I would assume that the way how he uses it is, this is like you kind of do this thing where you're trying to make the hand and basically do this, and it looks pretty good, and kind of reminds me of the Gaza C beam cannons on its back. And then you do still have a rotation point on the top, so no need to worry about that. So up to this part, the same articulation, ball joint, and then rotation on the lower end. And then let's see, and then we have a nice double jointed bend. Well, not in this side, not really double jointed. This thing does not really bend as much as the other side. I think it's because of the design here, where I did something wrong. But still, I think it's the white section that has less opening gap here. They're the same parts, they're the same joints, but as you can see, the purple has much more space, while this one does not actually have the exact same amount of space going on here. And yes, this side also has a half of a claw, and then still can move. Okay, and luckily because of the balding, we do get a ab crunch, and then for the legs, they're both same design, just different colors. So I'm just going to cover up one, so you can go forward that much. Since there's not much front skirts, there is a back skirt, which is this section right over here, and it does flap forward and backward. So with that in mind, so we can go a little bit back, almost 90 degrees, or if you can move your way around, you can move more if you want to do so. And we have a nice double jointed bend going on here, and also we have a front bend going on here, but this is mostly for the hand mode. And then we have your ball jointed feet. And speaking of ball joints, I forgot to mention the ball joint on this hand. This section actually has a hand, while the other one doesn't. This ball joint is gigantic. I did not expect this to be this big. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit, so I'll be right back with the demonstration with the axe, because it's kind of tricky to use. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I basically gave the left hand the axe, and I just wanted to talk about this aspect. So, because of how the arm is designed, so the way how the arm is plugged in, you can see this is basically the Alex syndrome, if you ask me, basically. So because of the hand cannot rotate 360 on its own because of how the hand connection is due to the design, the way how you hold the axe, it gets pretty awkward at the same time. So you're gonna have to like lift up the arm a lot to do some decent poses going on here. And if regarding the legs, I forgot to mention, you still get your side, you still have a nice side swivel going on here, and then you can move to the side obviously for the transformation. So articulation is very good. You can pretty much call this a flexible kit despite its design. So okay, so we've seen the hand, we've seen the axe, which is a pretty basic axe and kind of a tricky weapon, and kind of a odd weapon to use on this mobile suit. To be honest, it's kind of out of place if you ask me. So the way how the transformation works, I'm just going to give you basically the gist of it. So basically what you do is, number one, you have to open up the arms. You kind of fold up the arms to the side like this. And for the purple side arm, basically you need to twist the arm a little bit and make sure this section with the cannon kind of wraps around the other claw. And then once you're done with that, you extend this part. You can see this part actually, let's get the white section again. So you can open this section up and extend the arms, and then move each arm forward like this, and make the other arm also look forward, and do the same thing on the other claw. You have to move as much as possible regarding this, and you have to take off the chest piece, as I mentioned. At first it might be hard to bring it out, but once you have it done, it gets pretty easier. So once you have it done, you put the chest inside. So basically, as far as I can tell, is that these pieces will actually lock things into place, like these lower arms, so that they will prevent the arms from going up again. And then you basically take off the face, and then push this back in, and then replace the face one more time, and then basically you just reposition everything to make it look like a claw hand as well. So this is the reason why the legs can bend forward like that, to make it into a claw. So that's basically the gist of it. So I'll be right back once it's pretty much cleaned up. Okay, I'm back. So currently here we have the hand mode with the beam effect parts on. So with the beam effect parts, it may feel a little bit messy and doesn't really get the illusion of being a hand, but I really like this claw effect as well. So let me just get rid of the effect parts just to give you guys a better idea and look how this thing looks. Of course, I should mention that, or I'm not sure if I should even mention this, but still, you are able to attach all these beam effect parts while in its own mobile suit mode as well. So it's really up to your imagination as well. Since in the game, the claw there is a move where he just used only one claw as well on his arm. So here we have the hand mode. I think it's really looking cool. I'm really hoping that they release the other right hand version so we can do the both double hand attack like pose going on here, which I think it's pretty much going to happen. Definitely loving this, and once again, it does require you to attach it on that hole on the back here as well. So here's everything cleaned up. So here is that extended head piece going on here. So the extended head is supposed to be the thumb. So because with the extra ball joint going on here, you do get a slight more movement going on here, looking like a snake head does kind of starting to bother me. But still, yeah, because of that, we can move the head a little bit side to side and rotate the head if you want to do so, like this. And once again, everything still has their own same articulation. Of course, I would say the only thing that's limited would be the big giant claw, because the way how the cannon is wrapping around the hand. So if you do move it, it only is the claw that moves, not the top section right over here as well. And still, the legs still have a rotation point. They can bend even more forward, like those as well. The feet are a little bit limited than you think, but still they have your basic range of movement. It's just the design that kind of bothers it. And the arms, the small white arm still has its own ball joint connection, rotation, and bend point as well. So despite how it transformed, the articulation is not really bothered as well, and I'm really digging this look. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive HGUC Dictus of Castillo of Light version. I'm definitely sure that we'll be getting the other version as well pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited to display them both together with doing the double hand thing going on here. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the HGUC Dictus. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.